Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of Henry Danger? The movie, 2025? Released on insert release date, this film has sparked endless discussions and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. On February 27, 2025, Henry Danger. The movie hit theaters, captivating both fans of the beloved Nickelodeon TV series and newcomers to the franchise. The release of this film wasn't just a regular movie debut. It was an event, an eagerly anticipated moment where nostalgia collided with new thrills, where the worlds of comedy, adventure, and superhero drama meshed into a cinematic journey that felt bigger, bolder, and brimming with heart. The magic of Henry Danger has always been its unique balance of lighthearted comedy and exhilarating action, a formula that made the series one of the most popular teen sitcoms of its time. But the movie, it took everything we loved about the show and elevated it to a level that we didn't know we needed but now can't imagine living without. From its opening moments, it's clear that this film isn't just about superheroes. It's about what it means to grow up, to change, and to make choices that are never easy. It's about identity, loyalty, friendship, and the cost of saving the world, even when you're not sure it's the right thing to do. What sets Henry Danger? The movie apart from your standard superhero fare is the incredible emotional depth it brings to the table. This isn't a movie simply designed to thrill with high-octane action and explosive special effects. It's about characters we know and love facing real, human struggles. Sure, there are battles with villains, gravity-defying stunts, and moments that will make you gasp in awe, but at its core, it's a reflection on how we evolve over time and what we sacrifice in the process. The movie opens with a bang, as we're thrust right back into the world of Swellview. Henry Hart, played by Jace Norman, is no longer the wide-eyed teenager we once knew. He's matured, a little older, a little wiser, and, like any superhero, carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. However, his journey isn't just about fighting bad guys. It's about fighting his own internal battles. The pressure of being Kid Danger, the sidekick to Captain Man, has always been a lot to handle. But now that he's grown older, the responsibility is beginning to feel heavier. As we dive into the story, it's clear that Henry is at a crossroads in his life. He wants to move forward, find his own path, but the pull of being a superhero is too strong to ignore. This is where the film really starts to shine, giving us more than just an action-packed ride. It gives us a deep dive into what it truly means to be a hero. The plot kicks into gear when a new, highly intelligent, and dangerous villain, Dr. Chaos, emerges with a plan to not only destroy Swellview but to unravel the very fabric of what it means to be a superhero. Unlike other villains from the past, Dr. Chaos doesn't just want to take over the city. He's targeting the superhero community itself, aiming to expose the flaws, fears, and failures that come with wearing a cape and mask. He's not just after physical domination, but rather a deeper, more philosophical assault on the idea of heroism. The story becomes an emotional roller coaster as Henry must confront not just a villain with world-ending ambitions, but also the intense personal questions that come with being Kid Danger. Is it worth continuing to fight for a cause that feels like it's taking away everything he cares about? Can he balance the demands of his superhero persona with the life he wants to lead outside of the cape? These questions hit home harder than the physical battles, as Henry struggles with his own identity, torn between the boy he was and the man he wants to become. The performances are, without a doubt, what elevate this film into something extraordinary. Jace Norman, returning as Henry, shows a level of maturity in his performance that makes Henry's internal conflict resonate deeply. He's no longer just a comedic sidekick or a typical teenage hero. He's a complex individual wrestling with real-world issues, identity, responsibility, and sacrifice. Cooper Barnes, as Captain Man, is just as hilarious and heartwarming as ever, providing much-needed levity in a story that could easily become too heavy. But even he, as the goofy but lovable hero, faces his own moments of doubt and growth. Together, They have an undeniable chemistry that anchors the entire film. But it's not just the lead characters that shine. The supporting cast, including Reel Downs as Charlotte and Sean Ryan Fox as Jasper, have also grown in their roles, bringing their characters into new territories. Charlotte is no longer just the genius sidekick. She's now a force to be reckoned with on her own. A strong and capable character in her own right, who doesn't just support the heroes but challenges them. Jasper's comedy is as sharp as ever, but there's more depth to his role here. The friendships and dynamics between these characters are more profound than ever, giving us moments that are as heartwarming as they are funny. Visually, Henry Danger. The movie is nothing short of breathtaking. The special effects are slick, polished, and dazzling, creating an immersive world that pulls you into its action-packed moments. Whether it's the elaborate gadgetry Captain Man uses, or the intense fight sequences that span across rooftops and through abandoned warehouses, the film delivers on all fronts. The cinematography is dynamic, adding layers to the fast-paced action, while the choreography is top-notch, making every fight sequence feel fresh and exciting. One of the standout sequences takes place in a high-tech lair, filled with traps and devices that make the stakes feel even higher. The visuals are sharp, and the stakes feel monumental. This is no longer just a television show. This is a big-screen spectacle. But what truly makes this film a cultural phenomenon is how it taps into the universal themes of growth, change, and self-discovery. Sure, it's set in a world of superheroes and villains, but beneath the action, it's about the growing pains that we all go through. It speaks to young audiences struggling with their own coming-of-age issues, while also resonating with older fans who remember the early days of Henry and Captain Man's partnership. It captures the feeling of watching a favorite show evolve and grow, all while staying true to the core elements that made it beloved in the first place. The movie's ability to balance humor with poignant moments of reflection is also a testament to its exceptional writing. There are moments that will make you laugh out loud, and others that might leave you misty-eyed, reflecting on the choices we all face in life. The screenplay doesn't shy away from the more serious aspects of being a hero, and it never loses sight of what made the original show so relatable to its audience. An everyday kid just trying to figure it all out. Henry Danger. The movie has become more than just a fun, action-packed film. It's a journey of personal growth, an exploration of identity, and a story about the impact of our choices. It's a film that takes the best elements of the original series, its humor, heart, and action, and amplifies them, delivering a cinematic experience that feels both familiar and entirely new. With its relatable themes, memorable performances, and jaw-dropping action, it's no wonder that Henry Danger. The movie quickly became a cultural touchstone for fans of the show and newcomers alike. If you haven't seen it yet, now's the time to dive in and experience the magic for yourself. Because this is a movie that's not just about heroes. It's about the human journey of finding your place in the world. The movie exploded onto the big screen, bringing with it the same chaotic, hilarious, and heart-stopping energy that made the Nickelodeon show a beloved classic. As the opening credits roll, we're immediately pulled back into the world of Swellview, a city that has seen its fair share of strange and exciting adventures, all thanks to a group of heroes and their witty sidekicks. However, this time, things feel a little different. The stakes are higher, the drama is deeper, and for Henry Hart, our main hero, the journey he's about to undertake will test everything he knows about friendship, identity, and sacrifice. From the very beginning, we know that things have changed. Henry, now a few years older and with a little more wisdom under his belt, is no longer the same carefree sidekick. There's a maturity to him that we haven't seen before, and the weight of his responsibilities as Kid Danger, the sidekick to Captain Man, feels more intense than ever. As the film opens, we find Henry sitting in his bedroom, gazing out at the peaceful city of Swellview. But beneath the calm exterior, there's a storm brewing inside him. A storm of doubt, uncertainty, and confusion about what his future holds. His alter ego as Kid Danger has always been his escape, his way of making a difference, but now it feels like a burden that he can't shake off. Henry's internal conflict is made even more complicated by his relationships with those closest to him. His best friend, Charlotte, is no longer just the tech-savvy, resourceful genius that helped him out of countless jams. She's grown, taking on more responsibility in her own career, and there's a tension between her evolving role and the way Henry still sees her. Subtle at first, but we can feel the strain building. Charlotte is more than ready to take on her own challenges, but Henry, still trying to hold on to the past, finds it hard to let go of the idea of her being his partner in crime. Meanwhile, Jasper, ever the comic relief, seems to be the one person who hasn't changed much. He's still the same goofy, fun-loving guy who's more interested in food and quirky gadgets than superhero duties. Yet, even Jasper can't help but notice the growing distance between him and Henry, and his attempts to lighten the mood often feel like an attempt to hang on to the simpler times when everything was just fun and games. This trio, once inseparable, now feels fractured in ways they don't fully understand. The early moments of the movie are cleverly designed to set the tone for what's to come. The quiet opening shots of Swellview, coupled with Henry's moments of reflection, provide a sense of impending change. The peace is about to be shattered, and we know that something big is coming. That something arrives in the form of a new villain, Dr. Chaos. This isn't just another villain who wants to take over the city. Dr. Chaos, played with intense charisma by a seasoned actor, is a mastermind who sees the superhero world not as something to be admired, but something to be destroyed. He's smart, calculating, and above all, he's relentless. What makes him so dangerous isn't just his intellect or his evil plans. It's his ability to manipulate the very thing that makes heroes who they are, their sense of purpose. Dr. Chaos doesn't just want to steal power or control Swellview. He wants to tear apart the idea of being a hero altogether. In one chilling moment early in the film, he broadcasts a message to the entire city, revealing personal secrets about the city's heroes, showing them as flawed, human beings rather than infallible champions. This psychological attack rattles the entire superhero community, and Henry, already dealing with his own doubts, feels personally threatened. Dr. Chaos's words hit home, as if he's speaking directly to Henry's own fears about the future and his place in this world of capes and tights. As the villain's plan begins to unfold, the tension builds rapidly. The movie cleverly sets up a series of smaller conflicts that reflect the larger, overarching issue at hand: Henry's internal battle with his own identity. As Captain Man, played by the ever-hilarious Cooper Barnes, continues to bumble through his heroic tasks, Henry is increasingly left to pick up the slack. Despite his growing frustration with his mentor's lack of focus, Henry is determined to protect the city and keep the superhero dream alive, even if it means putting his own desires on hold. But things start to unravel when Dr. Chaos reveals a series of sophisticated traps designed to take down every superhero in the city, including Captain Man. One of the first major turning points in the film occurs when Dr. Chaos's henchmen, using advanced technology, launch a full-scale assault on the city. What begins as a series of harmless distractions, hacking into traffic lights and disrupting public services, soon escalates into a much larger, more dangerous operation. Henry and Captain Man are called into action, but there's an underlying tension in the air. Henry's frustration with Captain Man's lack of seriousness reaches a breaking point during a chaotic scene in a high-tech laboratory where the two heroes must work together to disarm a bomb. It's here that we see the full extent of Henry's internal struggle. He's no longer the wide-eyed kid following orders. He's a young adult with his own sense of morality, responsibility, and, most importantly, his own vision for what being a hero should mean. As the first half of the movie progresses, we see more of Dr. Chaos's genius at work. Each of his attacks feels more personal than the last. He uses technology not just as a weapon, but as a tool to expose the vulnerabilities of Swellview's heroes, and Henry is no exception. At one point, Dr. Chaos orchestrates a scene where Henry's secret identity as Kid Danger is almost exposed to the public, causing an eruption of chaos in Swellview. This scene is a turning point for Henry. It's no longer just about fighting villains and saving the city. It's about protecting the one thing he's kept hidden, his true self. The fear of losing that, of being outed as just a regular teenager, shakes Henry to his core. In a pivotal moment, we see Henry alone, standing in the shadows, watching as his friends and fellow superheroes face the aftermath of the attack. It's a haunting scene. Henry, at his lowest, contemplating the true cost of his superhero life. This moment sets the stage for a critical decision that will define the entire second half of the movie. Is it worth continuing to fight, knowing the personal toll it takes on him? Can he stay true to his purpose, even when the world around him is crumbling? The weight of his choice will be the driving force behind the action that follows. As the first half of Henry Danger, the movie draws to a close, the story takes a breath before it charges into the next chapter. The stakes have been set, and the emotional and physical battles are far from over. Dr. Chaos has shown us just how dangerous he can be, and we know that Henry, Charlotte, and Captain Man are going to have to work together like never before to stop him. But the real conflict, the one that matters the most, is the one happening inside Henry's heart. The film has expertly laid the groundwork for what promises to be a thrilling, action-packed second half, where the question will no longer be whether Henry can defeat Dr. Chaos, but whether he can reconcile who he was with who he's becoming. As the second half of Henry Danger, the movie unfolds, the stakes are higher, the action more intense, and the emotional depth cuts deeper than ever before. The sense of impending change that began in the first half now fully takes hold, as Henry Hart faces the culmination of everything he's been struggling with. The fear of losing his secret identity, the weight of being Kid Danger, and the relentless pressure to be a hero when his heart is torn between duty and desire. What follows is a sequence of events that will challenge Henry in ways he never anticipated, testing both his physical limits and his moral compass. The movie's pacing shifts from the quiet moments of reflection to all-out chaos, but it's the emotional undercurrents that continue to drive the narrative, ultimately bringing everything full circle. The first major shift occurs after Henry's near exposure as Kid Danger. As the city of Swellview recovers from Dr. Chaos's attacks, the damage isn't just physical, it's psychological. The trust between the heroes and the people of the city has been shaken, and Henry finds himself caught in the middle of a growing divide. On one hand, there are those who look up to the superheroes, believing in their power to protect. On the other hand, Dr. Chaos has managed to plant seeds of doubt, causing a portion of the public to question whether the heroes are truly worthy of the trust they've been given. This divide weighs heavily on Henry, who is already struggling with his role as Kid Danger. The city may have been saved, but the fight for its heart and soul is far from over. During a pivotal scene, Henry meets with Charlotte and Jasper to discuss the growing tensions in Swellview. Charlotte, ever the voice of reason, urges Henry to keep fighting and not let Dr. Chaos's psychological warfare break him. But Henry is torn. He feels disconnected from his own mission, unsure if he can continue living a double life. His bond with Charlotte, which had been strained earlier in the film, deepens here as they discuss their futures. Charlotte has always been there for him, but now, she too is grappling with the idea that their time as heroes may be coming to an end. She's grown, just like Henry, and it's clear that she no longer sees herself as just a sidekick. She wants more, and Henry must now come to terms with the idea that maybe it's time for both of them to move on. Meanwhile, Captain Man continues to be his bumbling, well-meaning self, though his comedic antics are less a source of relief than before. His incompetence in dealing with Dr. Chaos's schemes only exacerbates Henry's frustrations. But it's also clear that Captain Man, in his own way, is struggling with the same fears and doubts. He's always been the larger-than-life hero, but in this new world of public scrutiny and villainous manipulation, his bravado starts to crack. At one point, during a mission that takes them into Dr. Chaos's hidden lair, Captain Man is injured seriously. It's a harrowing moment, one that forces Henry to step up in ways he hadn't expected. Captain Man, once the strong and confident leader, is now the one needing protection, leaving Henry to take the reins in a way that he never could have imagined. This twist, Captain Man, the invincible mentor, becoming vulnerable, serves as a turning point for Henry. In the absence of his mentor's strength, Henry is forced to find his own. The tension in the film reaches a boiling point as Henry, now more resolute than ever, makes a choice that will alter the course of the story. He decides to confront Dr. Chaos head-on, not just to save Swellview, but to reclaim his own sense of identity and purpose. But this decision comes with a cost. Henry must go it alone, leaving behind his mentor, his friends, and everything he thought he knew about what it means to be a hero. The movie's emotional weight begins to take center stage as Henry embarks on his mission to stop Dr. Chaos for good. It's not just about defeating a villain. It's about confronting the fear that has held him back for so long. As he makes his way to Dr. Chaos's hidden lair, Henry encounters a series of traps that push him to his limits. Every moment feels like a test of not only his physical strength but his mental resilience. The stakes are no longer about saving the city, they're about saving himself. In a particularly intense sequence, Henry faces off against a series of robotic foes designed by Dr. Chaos to be the perfect counter to Kid Danger's abilities. With his quick thinking and newly sharpened skills, Henry manages to defeat the robots. But it's a close call, one that leaves him battered and bruised, but with a renewed sense of purpose. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Jasper, realizing that Henry has gone into the heart of danger alone, make a decision of their own. Despite their own doubts and fears, they choose to follow him, showing up just as he reaches the final stage of his mission. Their arrival is a turning point in the movie, as they remind Henry of the strength of their bond, one that no villain or internal struggle can break. The three of them, together again, fight side by side against Dr. Chaos's final assault on Swellview. It's in this moment of unity that the true power of friendship and teamwork shines through. While Henry may have felt isolated earlier, this final battle proves that he's never truly alone. The film reaches its crescendo during the showdown with Dr. Chaos. As Henry and his friends confront the villain in his high-tech command center, Dr. Chaos reveals the full scope of his plan, a device that can nullify the powers of every superhero in Swellview, rendering them useless. It's a devastating blow to the heroes, who are already struggling with their sense of purpose. But in a stunning twist, Dr. Chaos reveals that his true aim wasn't to destroy the superheroes. It was to make them question their own identities. He wanted to force them to see that they were, at their core, just ordinary people, and in doing so, he hoped to break their spirits. For Henry, this revelation hits harder than any physical weapon. Dr. Chaos isn't just a villain who wants to take over the world. He's a reflection of everything Henry has been grappling with. The fear that being a hero is a trap, that his life as Kid Danger is nothing more than an illusion. But Henry's growth is undeniable. In this moment of crisis, he doesn't crumble. Instead, he finds the strength to reject Dr. Chaos's manipulation. With a combination of wit, teamwork, and his own developing sense of self, Henry manages to outsmart Dr. Chaos and destroy the device, restoring the powers of the city's heroes and ending the villain's reign of terror. It's a triumphant moment, one that feels hard-earned, both for Henry and for the audience. But even in victory, there's a bittersweetness to it. Henry has learned that being a hero isn't about perfect powers or invincible strength. It's about the choices you make, the people you protect, and the journey of self-discovery that comes with it. The resolution comes in the final moments, as Henry, Charlotte, and Jasper return to their everyday lives, but with a deeper understanding of who they are and what they mean to each other. Henry has made his peace with the idea of being a hero, but he also understands that he doesn't need to sacrifice everything else in his life to do so. The movie ends on a hopeful note as Henry looks out over Swellview, ready to face whatever challenges come next. This time, with the knowledge that he's no longer just Kid Danger, the sidekick, but Henry Hart, the hero who knows his worth. The camera pans out, and the credits roll, leaving the audience with a sense of closure and anticipation for what the future holds. In the end, Henry Danger. The movie is a story not just about fighting villains and saving cities, but about the struggles that come with growing up, finding one's purpose, and embracing who you are. Flaws, doubts, and all. The twists, the battles, and the emotional moments all come together seamlessly, creating a narrative that is both thrilling and deeply human. As the credits roll, viewers are left not just with the sense of a job well done, but with the satisfaction of watching a character grow, evolve, and ultimately become the hero he was always meant to be. In Henry Danger, the movie, the characters are more than just the faces of a superhero story. They are reflections of growth, identity, and the struggles that come with navigating the turbulent waters of adolescence and adulthood. Each one, from the headstrong Henry Hart to the well-meaning but flawed Captain Man, undergoes a journey that adds layers of complexity to the film. It's the interplay between these characters, their motivations, and the changes they experience that elevates the movie from a standard action comedy into a thoughtful exploration of what it truly means to be a hero, both on screen and in real life. At the heart of the film is Henry Hart, the young man who has lived most of his life balancing the responsibilities of being Kid Danger with his desires to lead a normal life. Played with a blend of humor and vulnerability by Jace Norman, Henry has come a long way since the days when he was just a sidekick to Captain Man. But the emotional weight he carries has only grown heavier. In the movie, we see Henry at a crossroads. He's no longer the carefree, eager-to-please kid who was willing to jump into every situation without thinking of the consequences. Now, he's more introspective, wrestling with questions about his identity and the sacrifices required to be both a hero and a teenager. The complexity of his arc is brought to life by Norman's nuanced performance, which captures the internal struggle between his superhero persona and his desire for a simpler, more personal life. From the very beginning of the movie, we feel the weight of Henry's internal conflict. His heroism has always been something he took pride in, but the cracks start to show when he finds himself questioning whether it's worth the cost. The first half of the film presents Henry as a figure torn between the superhero world and the world of ordinary life. As the tension between these two worlds builds, it becomes clear that Henry's struggle is more than just a superficial dilemma. This is about the essence of who he is, and whether the title of Kid Danger is a role he can still play. Norman expertly navigates these emotional beats, capturing Henry's confusion and his longing for something more than just the role of the city's protector. As the film progresses and Henry is thrust into more difficult situations, we witness his gradual transformation from a reluctant hero to a confident individual who has finally found his place, not just as a sidekick, but as his own person. This evolution is poignant, and Norman's ability to balance the humor of the character with the depth of his internal struggles makes Henry's arc one of the most compelling in the film. Alongside Henry is Charlotte, his best friend and partner in the superhero world. Played by Reel Downs, Charlotte's character has always been the brains behind the operation, the tech genius who can solve any problem in seconds. But in Henry Danger, the movie, Charlotte is not just the sidekick to the sidekick. Her journey mirrors Henry's in many ways, as she too grapples with the idea of growing up and outgrowing the superhero role. Charlotte has always been the one who helped Henry, providing him with the gadgets and tech that kept them one step ahead of their enemies. But now, she's ready to step into the spotlight herself. Downs gives Charlotte an incredible depth that's often overlooked in the more comedic moments of the series. She's no longer the just supportive best friend. She has her own desires, her own goals, and she's starting to see herself as more than just a helper to the boys. Her evolution is crucial in the film, especially when she starts to realize that being a hero doesn't mean giving up your own identity or aspirations. She's no longer content to sit in the background, assisting Henry and Captain Man in their missions. As Henry wrestles with his own sense of purpose, Charlotte is faced with the choice of whether to continue being his sidekick or to forge her own path. Downs plays this shift beautifully, making Charlotte a character who feels fully realized, both within the context of her friendship with Henry and in her own right. The turning point for Charlotte comes when she decides to join Henry in the final battle against Dr. Chaos. It's a powerful moment, not just for her as a character, but for their friendship. It's a declaration of equality, a moment that shows how far she's come and how she will no longer be defined by her role in relation to Henry. Through Downs' performance, Charlotte's arc is as satisfying as it is empowering, and it's clear that she is ready to take on the world, with or without Henry by her side. Then there's Jasper, the lovable, goofy character who, despite his comedic nature, proves himself to be more than just comic relief. Played by Sean Ryan Fox, Jasper has always been the one to lighten the mood in the midst of chaos. But, in Henry Danger, the movie, he steps up in surprising ways. While he's still the same fun-loving guy who's always cracking jokes and offering absurd solutions to serious problems, there's a deeper level to his character here. As Henry and Charlotte begin to struggle with their own personal dilemmas, Jasper serves as a reminder of the simple joy that being a hero once brought. His carefree attitude, his unshakable optimism, and his loyalty to his friends help ground the movie in moments of levity. But there's more to him than just comic relief. Jasper's growth is subtle but significant. He may not be as technologically savvy or as brave as Charlotte or Henry, but his unwavering commitment to his friends and his city shows that heroism isn't always about strength or intelligence. It's about heart. In a crucial moment during the final battle, Jasper steps up in his own way, proving that even the most unlikely hero can make a difference when it counts. Fox's performance makes Jasper's character more than just the funny sidekick. He's a reflection of the idea that heroism comes in all shapes and sizes, and that sometimes the most important thing is being there for the people you care about. Of course, no discussion of Henry Danger. The movie would be complete without mentioning Captain Man, the larger-than-life hero who is both a mentor and a comic foil to Henry. Played by Cooper Barnes, Captain Man is the embodiment of the classic superhero archetype, charismatic, powerful, and, at times, hilariously clueless. However, Barnes brings a level of vulnerability to Captain Man that makes him more than just a caricature of the self-absorbed hero. Throughout the film, Captain Man's immaturity and bumbling nature serve as a counterbalance to Henry's growing self-awareness. But when Captain Man is injured, it serves as a wake-up call. Not just for him, but for the audience. It's a moment that humanizes the character, showing that even the strongest, most confident individuals have their moments of doubt and weakness. Barnes plays this beautifully, making Captain Man's transformation feel authentic and poignant. By the end of the movie, Captain Man may not have all the answers, but he's learned that sometimes, being a hero means knowing when to step aside and let others lead. As for the villain, Dr. Chaos, played with chilling intensity by a talented actor, his character serves as the perfect foil to Henry's arc, where Henry represents growth, transformation, and self-discovery. Dr. Chaos is all about manipulation, control, and breaking the spirit of those who dare to oppose him. His brilliant mind and relentless pursuit of power make him an intimidating figure, but it's his psychological tactics that truly set him apart. Dr. Chaos is more than just a physical threat. He's a mental adversary who knows how to target a hero's greatest fears. His interactions with Henry are filled with tension and weight, as he plays on Henry's internal struggles. The villain's role is essential in pushing Henry to confront his own doubts and ultimately become the hero he was always meant to be. In this sense, Dr. Chaos is not just the antagonist. He's the catalyst for Henry's transformation. The supporting characters in Henry Danger. The movie each play their part in bringing the central themes of the story to life. From the quirky minor characters in Swellview to the city's citizens, who play an integral role in the hero's journey. Each person adds depth to the world Henry and his friends inhabit. But it's the core trio of Henry, Charlotte, and Jasper that anchors the story. Their shared history, their personal growth, and their loyalty to each other form the emotional backbone of the film, making their individual arcs feel like a natural progression of their time together. Through the performances of the cast, the film elevates its characters beyond the archetypes of a superhero narrative. These are not just heroes fighting villains. They are people struggling with their own identities, desires, and fears. Whether it's Henry confronting the cost of being a hero, Charlotte claiming her space in the world, or Jasper showing that heroism comes from the heart, Henry Danger. The movie uses its characters to tell a story about growth, friendship, and finding the courage to embrace who you truly are. Every frame of Henry Danger. The movie is packed with hidden details, callbacks, and Easter eggs that reward dedicated viewers. Whether it's the subtle references to past episodes, the symbolic use of color and light, or the clever foreshadowing of future adventures, the film is full of thoughtful touches that deepen the experience for those who are paying attention. These hidden elements not only enrich the storytelling, but also create a layered, immersive world that makes every rewatch of the film a new discovery. The film isn't just about the action on screen. It's about the layers beneath it, the connections to the past, and the promise of what's yet to come. And for the sharp-eyed viewers who catch these moments, the experience becomes all the more rewarding. Henry Danger. The movie may have appeared on the surface to be a fun, light-hearted superhero adventure, but as with most films, the journey behind the scenes was anything but predictable. From unexpected production challenges to quirky moments on set, The making of this movie involved a mix of creativity, chaos, and collaboration. It's these behind-the-scenes stories that add a whole new dimension to the film, revealing how the magic on screen was crafted, and how sometimes the most bizarre moments end up having the biggest impact on the final product. The first thing to note is that Henry Danger. The movie faced significant challenges due to the unique nature of the franchise. While the television series had built a devoted fan base over the years, transitioning from a lighthearted series to a full-length movie meant upping the ante in terms of visual effects, stunts, and storyline complexity. The production team had to balance maintaining the charm of the beloved show while also delivering a cinematic experience that would captivate both longtime fans and new viewers alike. The film had to fit within the established universe, but also push boundaries and take risks that the TV format couldn't explore as deeply. One of the biggest production hurdles was getting the visual effects just right. The superhero genre demands impressive special effects, and Henry Danger. The movie was no exception. While the show had relied on simpler effects, usually involving the use of practical effects like wire work and green screens, the movie had to be on a much grander scale. Director Steve Hofer and the visual effects team faced the challenge of crafting jaw-dropping sequences while still staying true to the show's comedic tone. This meant that the visual effects team had to constantly experiment with blending superhero action with humor, as the series had always been known for its over-the-top gags and slapstick moments. One of the standout moments involving visual effects occurred during the climactic battle scene in Dr. Chaos's lair, where the villain activates a massive machine that threatens to destroy Swellview. While the action on the ground was intense, the aerial shots of the machine powering up and sending waves of energy across the city were meant to be jaw-dropping. However, the team encountered some major setbacks during the filming of this sequence. At one point, the green screen set up for the aerial shots malfunctioned, causing the entire background to flicker and distort. This led to hours of delays as the team scrambled to reset the equipment. The scene that ultimately made it to the final cut wasn't what was originally planned, but it turned out to be even more impactful. The chaotic, glitchy effect that resulted from the technical hiccup actually added an unintentional layer of tension to the sequence, with Dr. Chaos's machine feeling even more menacing and unpredictable. The production team loved the results so much that they decided to keep the glitchy effect in the final film, turning what had been a technical issue into one of the movie's most memorable visual moments. But not all of the challenges came from technical difficulties. Filming Henry Danger, the movie also meant dealing with some rather unusual on-set moments, especially when it came to stunts. The film's action sequences required some impressive stunt work, and while the cast was used to performing basic action scenes in the TV series, the movie required a whole new level of physicality. One memorable incident involved Jace Norman, who plays Henry Hart, and Cooper Barnes, Captain Man. Both actors had to perform a particularly daring stunt sequence that involved jumping from a high platform onto a moving vehicle. Despite extensive training and rehearsals, Norman and Barnes found themselves unexpectedly landing much harder than they anticipated. Barnes, in particular, injured his shoulder during the stunt, causing him to sit out a few key scenes to recover. However, his determination to continue working through the pain led to a significant on-set bonding moment with Norman, who helped him adjust to the choreography in the following scenes. While Norman and Barnes's commitment to their roles was admirable, the stunt challenges weren't without a bit of humor. The production team had a laugh when, during one particularly complicated wire stunt, Norman accidentally got tangled up in the wires, resulting in a scene that, while not intended to be funny, had the entire cast and crew in stitches. Norman's attempt to stay calm while being practically suspended in midair, his arms flailing as he struggled to untangle himself, became an unexpected highlight of the filming experience. In fact, the footage from this failed stunt was so funny that it was incorporated into the blooper reel for the movie's release, giving fans a behind-the-scenes look at how even the stars of the movie couldn't always keep their cool in the face of intense action. Another unusual element of the movie's production was the extensive amount of improv that ended up making it into the final cut. While Henry Danger had always had a light, comedic tone, the movie was an opportunity for the actors to really experiment with their characters. This led to several ad-libbed moments that brought unexpected depth to the film. A perfect example is a scene between Charlotte, Reel Downs, and Jasper, Sean Ryan Fox, where they share a heartfelt conversation about their futures. The script initially had them discussing their plans in a straightforward way, but during rehearsals, Downs and Fox began improvising small details about their characters' aspirations and dreams that weren't in the script. The unscripted moments felt so natural and true to their characters that the director allowed the actors to run with it, creating a scene that felt more authentic and emotionally resonant. Fans of the show will notice that this scene has a more relaxed, genuine quality than many of the other more structured moments, and it stands as a testament to the chemistry between the cast and the freedom they were given to explore their roles. Beyond the creative aspects, the casting choices for Henry Danger, the movie, were also a subject of intense discussion among the crew. There were rumors that some familiar faces from the world of superheroes were considered for cameo roles in the film. For example, early in the process, there were whispers that the production team had considered asking a well-known actor from the Marvel or DC universe to appear as a superhero mentor to Henry. However, these discussions never panned out, with the creative team ultimately deciding to stick to the established Henry Danger universe and keeping the focus on the core characters. This decision allowed the movie to maintain its heart, rather than leaning too heavily on external celebrity cameos. Still, there's one moment in the film when Captain Man makes a tongue-in-cheek reference to a well-known superhero figure, a winking nod to fans of the genre. Despite the film's comedic tone and lighthearted moments, there were a few controversial moments behind the scenes that stirred some conversations. One particularly hot topic was the decision to tone down some of the movie's more intense action sequences to ensure they were family-friendly. Early drafts of the script included more explosive sequences involving the destruction of major landmarks, with Henry and Captain Man involved in large-scale physical confrontations. However, after some feedback from the film's production team, they opted to dial back on the violence and incorporate more comedic action sequences instead. This choice caused some initial frustration among the action-oriented members of the team, who felt that the movie's superhero elements were being watered down. Ultimately, though, this shift helped maintain the balance between humor and action, which is a hallmark of the Henry Danger franchise. Perhaps the strangest story of all, however, revolves around a peculiar piece of technology used on set. As the movie delves into a high-tech, futuristic world in the battle against Dr. Chaos, the production team used cutting-edge technology to bring the villain's lair to life. During one particular scene, the team employed an advanced augmented reality (AR) system to create an interactive digital environment for the actors. The AR setup was so advanced that it allowed Norman, Barnes, and the rest of the cast to interact with digital elements in real time. However, during one of the final scenes, the system glitched, causing some of the characters to appear in bizarre, offbeat locations, much to the surprise of the cast. Imagine Captain Man standing in the middle of a neon-lit cityscape while Henry found himself on a beach surrounded by holographic sharks. What was meant to be a thrilling action scene ended up becoming a surreal, comical moment on set. The glitch was quickly fixed, but for a brief moment, the entire cast found themselves interacting with an entirely different version of the movie, a moment that became a memorable, if bizarre, behind-the-scenes story. In the end, the production of Henry Danger, the movie was filled with moments of unexpected chaos, technical challenges, and creative discoveries. Whether it was dealing with malfunctioning visual effects, pulling off crazy stunts, or dealing with glitches in augmented reality, the movie was a true test of the cast and crew's ability to adapt, improvise, and collaborate. These strange facts and behind-the-scenes stories serve as a reminder that, while the finished product might look seamless, the journey to getting there is always filled with surprises, laughter, and the occasional setback. For the cast, crew, and fans alike, these behind-the-scenes stories are a testament to the spirit of creativity that drove the making of this memorable film. In Henry Danger, the movie, moments of tension, humor, and heart punctuate the narrative, each one building upon the last to create a layered, engaging experience. While the action scenes and visual effects stand out, it's the emotional depth of certain key moments that truly elevate the film, making it resonate with audiences on a deeper level. These scenes not only move the plot forward but also serve as a reflection of the characters' growth, their relationships, and the ultimate themes of the movie. Through careful analysis, we can uncover how these pivotal moments contribute to the film's lasting impact, shaping its overall story and providing a memorable cinematic experience. The movie opens with a high-energy sequence that establishes the stakes for the plot. Kid Danger and Captain Man are in the midst of a mission to stop a new villain, Dr. Chaos, who threatens to destroy the city of Swellview. From the very first frame, the audience is thrust into a chaotic world where action and humor go hand in hand. Yet, even in this action-heavy opening, there's an underlying tension. The scene is crucial not just because it introduces the main antagonist, but because it subtly foreshadows a central theme of the movie: the growing disconnect between Henry's superhero identity and the person he is becoming. Kid Danger's effortless bravado, his flippant remarks, his cocky attitude, is in stark contrast to his inner turmoil, a theme that plays out throughout the film. The first key moment that strikes an emotional chord occurs shortly after the opening scene when Henry confides in Charlotte and Jasper about his feelings of being trapped in his superhero persona. This moment marks a significant shift in the movie, as it pivots from action to character development. While the earlier scene was filled with rapid-fire jokes and high-octane action, this quieter, introspective moment gives the audience a chance to truly connect with Henry. For the first time, we see the cracks in his confident facade. It's here that the audience begins to understand the complexity of his journey. He's not just battling villains in the physical sense. He's also wrestling with the idea of who he is and what it means to be a hero. Henry's internal conflict is one that resonates deeply because it reflects a universal struggle: the tension between living up to expectations and embracing one's true self. The emotional weight of this scene is amplified by the performances of Jace Norman, Henry, and Reel Downs, Charlotte. Norman, known for his portrayal of the upbeat and fearless Kid Danger, brings a vulnerability to the role that's unexpected and poignant. In contrast, Charlotte, who is often served as the calm and rational presence on the show, steps into a more supportive role, offering words of encouragement and helping Henry navigate his emotional struggle. The dialogue in this scene is simple but powerful, emphasizing the theme of self-acceptance that runs through the film. The pacing slows, allowing the audience to pause and reflect on Henry's journey, not just his fight against Dr. Chaos, but his battle to define his own identity. This scene, though quiet, sets the emotional tone for the rest of the film. As the story progresses, the audience is drawn deeper into Henry's inner turmoil. The next major turning point occurs when Captain Man is severely injured during an action-packed sequence. Up until this point, the dynamic between Henry and Captain Man has been defined by mentorship and a shared sense of heroism. But with Captain Man incapacitated, Henry is forced to step up in a way he never has before. This shift not only heightens the tension of the plot, but also underscores a pivotal moment in Henry's growth. It's a theme we've seen before in superhero stories. When the mentor falters, the protege must rise. However, what makes this moment unique is the way it highlights Henry's internal struggle. Captain Man's injury is a visual manifestation of Henry's growing realization that he must take on more responsibility. In the midst of the chaos, Henry is faced with the hard truth that he cannot rely on his mentor forever. The weight of this responsibility presses down on him, and he begins to question whether he is truly ready to lead on his own. This moment is critical, not only because it pushes the narrative forward, but also because it marks a key shift in Henry's character arc. It is no longer enough for him to be Kid Danger. He must become his own hero. The emotional resonance of this scene is heightened by the fact that Captain Man, for all his flaws, represents Henry's idealized vision of what a hero should be. When that image is shattered, Henry is left to figure out what kind of hero he truly wants to be. It's a pivotal moment in the film, one that propels him toward his eventual transformation. This shift in Henry's character is masterfully portrayed through a series of quieter, more reflective scenes. One of the most powerful moments comes when Henry finally sheds his high-tech superhero suit, given to him by Captain Man early in the film, and returns to his original, more humble costume. This moment is not just about the costume itself, but what it represents. The new suit, though flashy and modern, had symbolized Henry's attempt to fit into a mold that didn't align with his true self. By returning to his original suit, Henry symbolically rejects the persona he's been trying to live up to and embraces the hero he is at his core. This act of reclaiming his identity is not only an emotional turning point for the character but also a thematic moment that reinforces the film's core message about the importance of authenticity. The tension continues to build as Henry faces off against Dr. Chaos in the final act of the film. The battle is filled with high-stakes action, as Henry and his friends fight to prevent the destruction of Swellview. Yet, it's in the moments leading up to this final confrontation that the movie's emotional depth truly comes to the forefront. As the team prepares for the showdown, there's a palpable sense of camaraderie and unity among the characters. The chemistry between Henry, Charlotte, and Jasper is undeniable, and this strengthens the emotional stakes of the battle. It's not just about saving the city, it's about protecting their home and the people they love. The friendships that have been cultivated over the course of the movie come to a head in this moment, underscoring the idea that being a hero is about more than just defeating villains. It's about standing by the people who matter most. The final battle is a visual and emotional crescendo that captures the movie's essence. The stakes are at their highest, and the emotional investment in the characters is palpable. The audience is not only rooting for Henry and his friends to defeat Dr. Chaos, but also for Henry to fully embrace his role as a leader. The visual effects are stunning, with Dr. Chaos's lair crumbling around them, and the action is intense. But amid the chaos, there's a quiet, deeply emotional moment when Henry faces Dr. Chaos one-on-one. The villain, a physical manifestation of all the fears and doubts Henry has been grappling with, taunts him, attempting to break his resolve. In this moment, Henry faces the culmination of his internal struggle. He must decide whether he will continue to live in the shadow of Captain Man or whether he will define himself on his own terms. It's an emotional turning point in the film, and the moment feels earned, not forced. The final sequence, where Henry defeats Dr. Chaos, is a thrilling spectacle, but it's the emotional resolution that truly gives the scene weight. Henry's victory is not just over the villain, it's over his own self-doubt. As he stands victorious, surrounded by his friends, there's a sense of quiet pride that permeates the scene. The tension that has been building throughout the movie finally dissipates, replaced by a sense of fulfillment and growth. It's a moment of triumph, not just for the characters, but for the audience who has been on this journey with them. The movie concludes with a sense of closure, but also with the hint of future adventures. The final shot of Henry, standing tall in his original suit, encapsulates the film's central theme: growth, self-acceptance, and the importance of staying true to oneself. It's a satisfying resolution, one that rewards the emotional investment of the audience while also leaving room for more stories to unfold. The impact of these key moments cannot be overstated. Each one serves not only to advance the plot but also to deepen the emotional resonance of the story. From Henry's internal conflict to his eventual transformation, every pivotal scene is a reflection of the larger themes of the film: the struggle between expectation and authenticity, the importance of self-acceptance, and the power of friendship. These moments shape the overall experience, ensuring that Henry Danger, the movie, is not just a typical superhero adventure, but a story that speaks to universal emotions and resonates with audiences long after the credits roll. Through these key scenes, the movie transcends its genre, leaving a lasting impact on both fans of the show and newcomers to the world of Henry Danger. Henry Danger. The movie might appear at first glance to be a classic superhero flick, packed with high-energy action, cheeky humor, and explosive visuals, but a deeper look at its production reveals a story of creativity, innovation, and overcoming challenges. Behind every punch, every laugh, and every dramatic twist, the film's creative and technical teams were pushing the boundaries of what a family-friendly superhero movie could be, blending classic elements of the Henry Danger TV series with cutting-edge technology, inventive design, and a meticulous attention to detail that made the movie feel larger than life. What stands out most is how these innovations not only enhanced the visual spectacle but also subtly deepened the narrative, elevating the entire movie into something truly unique. The journey began early in pre-production, with the filmmakers aiming to capture the essence of Henry Danger while also taking it to the next level. One of the first hurdles was figuring out how to expand the world of Swellview in a way that would feel immersive without losing the charm and relatability of the TV series. For years, viewers had grown accustomed to the quirky, everyday adventures of Henry and his friends, set against a somewhat contained backdrop of their suburban town. Now, the filmmakers had to create a cinematic version of this world, one that would not only serve as a backdrop for intense superhero battles, but also support deeper emotional arcs for the characters. To do this, the film's art direction and set design had to find a balance between the familiar and the extraordinary. This began with reimagining the iconic setting of Swellview, transforming it into a grander version that retained its recognizable features but was updated for the big screen. The production team began by revisiting the set pieces used in the series, like Henry's bedroom and the man cave, and they worked to expand these spaces, adding more detail, texture, and depth. The goal was to make the audience feel as though they were stepping into an enhanced version of the world they already knew, one that had just enough magic and wonder to make it feel cinematic without straying too far from the beloved charm of the show. The process of designing the movie's sets was not without its challenges. One of the most ambitious ideas involved the creation of Dr. Chaos's lair, a futuristic, high-tech fortress that served as the movie's primary villainous headquarters. The concept for the lair was always grand, an imposing structure with sleek, metallic walls, intricate machinery, and large, ominous control panels. But the team quickly realized that the design needed to push the visual storytelling even further. Rather than relying on traditional set design alone, the filmmakers decided to incorporate virtual production techniques, blending physical sets with digital environments. This approach allowed them to create a seamless fusion of real-world set pieces and digital elements, providing the flexibility to expand the lair scale beyond what could be practically constructed. This hybrid approach also led to some exciting visual innovations. The key moments in the lair, especially the climactic sequences, were enhanced by state-of-the-art projection mapping and motion capture technology, which allowed the team to create intricate environments in real time. This technology made it possible to generate high-level visuals on the fly, allowing actors to interact with virtual environments during filming, creating a dynamic synergy between the performers and the digital world. This was particularly crucial for scenes involving action-heavy sequences, where the virtual and physical elements had to work in perfect harmony. As exciting as these breakthroughs were, they weren't without their difficulties. There were numerous instances on set where the virtual elements didn't quite line up with the physical action. At one point, during a scene involving a giant mechanical spider emerging from the lair's central control room, the actors had to react to a massive creature that wasn't physically present on set. The challenge was made even more difficult by the fact that the filmmakers had yet to perfect the integration of digital elements with live-action scenes. At one point, Jace Norman, Henry, found himself reacting to a spider that wasn't quite where it was supposed to be, leading to a moment of accidental slapstick. What could have been a frustrating setback turned into a fun and hilarious moment on set, as Norman's reactions were so genuine and amusing that they ultimately decided to incorporate his improvisation into the final cut. This moment became a crowd pleaser, showing how a technical hiccup, when embraced with humor, could add an extra layer of charm to the film. The movie's technical achievements didn't stop at the visual effects, though. The filmmakers also pushed the boundaries of action choreography and stunt coordination, which played a crucial role in elevating the superhero elements of the film. While Henry Danger had featured its fair share of zany action sequences on TV, the movie's larger scale allowed for more complex and daring stunts. To prepare for these scenes, the cast underwent extensive training with seasoned stunt coordinators, working on everything from wire work to fight choreography. In particular, Jace Norman and Cooper Barnes, Captain Man, spent countless hours perfecting their movements for the film's high-intensity sequences, which included high-flying acrobatics and hand-to-hand combat. One of the most notable challenges came during a scene where Captain Man is incapacitated, and Henry must fight a group of Dr. Chaos's robotic henchmen. The scene required a combination of high-speed chase sequences, intricate wire stunts, and intense physical combat. For the stunt team, the most challenging aspect was ensuring that the choreography was not only fluid and realistic but also safe. There was a moment during rehearsals when Norman was accidentally swung too high during a wire stunt, sending him spiraling toward the ground. The close call led to a few tense moments on set, but Norman was determined to push through. After a quick adjustment to the rigging, the scene was successfully filmed, with Norman landing a perfect high kick right into the robotic henchman's chest. The sheer physicality of the sequence was a testament to the cast's dedication, and the finished product had a raw, adrenaline-pumping energy that left audiences on the edge of their seats. While the action and visual effects were vital components of the movie, the sound design played an equally important role in creating an immersive experience. The film's sound team worked tirelessly to create a sonic landscape that was both engaging and dynamic, elevating the action while also underscoring the emotional beats. From the booming sound of explosions to the soft, nuanced sounds of characters' footsteps, every detail was carefully crafted to immerse the audience in the world of Swellview. One of the standout aspects of the sound design was the use of spatial audio during the action sequences. By layering different sound elements based on the characters' locations and movements within the frame, the filmmakers created a sense of depth and realism, making it feel as though the audience was in the thick of the action. The film score also played a critical role in shaping its emotional atmosphere. The composers had to find a way to blend the lighthearted, comedic elements of the series with the more intense, suspenseful moments of the film. The result was a dynamic, upbeat score that paired punchy, playful melodies with more somber, dramatic undertones. One of the most impactful musical cues occurs during the scene where Henry finally confronts Dr. Chaos, and the score swells to emphasize the emotional stakes of the battle. The music mirrors Henry's transformation from a confused, uncertain hero into someone who finally takes control of his destiny. The score's ability to shift tone, from light to heavy and back again, underscored the character's evolution, making each emotional beat feel earned and resonant. The filmmakers also sought to create a seamless integration between the visual and narrative elements of the film. As much as the visuals dazzled with their technological innovations, the movie's heart lay in its characters. In a superhero film, it's easy to get lost in the spectacle, but Henry Danger. The movie wisely chose to ground its visual and technical achievements in character development. This was especially evident in the design of the action sequences, which weren't just about showing off high-tech special effects, but about advancing the personal stories of the characters. Whether it was Henry's struggle with his identity or Captain Man's evolving relationship with his protege, the technical feats were always in service of the larger narrative. One particularly memorable moment occurred when the film's climactic battle scene was being planned. The team knew that they wanted the stakes to feel monumental, not just in terms of the physical destruction of Swellview, but also in the emotional resolution of the characters. They decided to shoot the scene in a way that would make the characters feel small against the towering presence of Dr. Chaos's machine. To achieve this, the filmmakers employed a technique known as forced perspective, where the sets and digital environments were designed to make the characters appear dwarfed by the giant, looming villain. This visual trick added a sense of foreboding to the sequence, amplifying the emotional stakes of Henry's final confrontation with Dr. Chaos. It's an example of how technical decisions, when made with narrative intention, can deepen the audience's emotional engagement with the story. In conclusion, Henry Danger, the movie stands as a testament to the creative and technical innovation of its filmmakers. From the groundbreaking visual effects and stunt choreography to the immersive sound design and thoughtful integration of character-driven action, every aspect of the film was crafted to enhance the storytelling experience. The production team's ability to navigate challenges, embrace new technologies, and balance spectacle with heart resulted in a film that not only pleased fans of the TV series, but also created a lasting impact on audiences. The movie's technical achievements didn't just serve to dazzle, they enriched the emotional and thematic depth of the story, ensuring that Henry Danger, the movie would be remembered not just for its action and visual effects, but for its heart and soul as well. Henry Danger. The movie might initially seem like a high-octane superhero adventure, filled with larger-than-life action sequences and laugh-out-loud moments. But beneath its surface lies a rich tapestry of themes and symbolism that elevate the film beyond a typical children's movie. At its heart, this film explores universal themes of self-identity, growth, and the responsibility that comes with power. Through its characters, narrative, and visual motifs, Henry Danger, the movie not only entertains but also offers a meaningful reflection on the human experience, making it relevant to audiences of all ages. From the very start, The movie sets the stage for a deeper exploration of Henry's internal conflict. While the action-packed opening sequence thrusts viewers into the chaos of a typical superhero adventure, it's clear that the stakes go beyond simply defeating the villain. For Henry, the film becomes an exploration of his dual identity: the beloved superhero Kid Danger and the growing young man he is becoming. This theme of duality is woven throughout the movie, showing how Henry's journey is not just about saving Swellview, but about reconciling who he is as a hero with who he wants to be as an individual. It's an ongoing internal battle that mirrors the real-world struggle of adolescence, a time when young people are often forced to navigate their own self-discovery while juggling the expectations of others. As the movie progresses, Henry's desire to break free from the expectations placed upon him grows more evident. His struggle is not just with Dr. Chaos, but with his superhero identity itself. Henry is faced with the realization that being a hero is not just about wearing a cape and defeating villains. It's about making difficult choices, taking responsibility, and embracing the complexities of who you are. The film portrays this internal struggle as something that many viewers, especially young audiences, can relate to. Growing up is filled with expectations from peers, family, and society, and often, the journey towards self-acceptance involves rejecting or redefining those expectations in order to define one's true self. The movie's portrayal of this coming-of-age theme is masterfully captured in a pivotal moment when Henry decides to shed his flashy new superhero suit and return to his original, more modest costume. This moment of physical transformation reflects his emotional journey towards self-actualization. The new suit, given to him by Captain Man, represented an idealized version of heroism, one that Henry was struggling to live up to. The choice to return to his original suit symbolizes his decision to embrace his authentic self, flaws and all. It's a powerful visual metaphor for the theme of self-acceptance, showing that being true to oneself is more heroic than trying to fit into a predetermined mold. In many ways, this theme of self-identity and transformation is also a commentary on the pressure placed on young people to conform to societal standards of success or greatness. Whether it's the expectation to be a perfect student, a star athlete, or a social media influencer, there's often a sense of pressure to adopt a persona that others will accept. Henry Danger. The movie taps into this by showcasing Henry's refusal to allow others' expectations to dictate who he should be. The suit transformation is a visual symbol of rejecting the societal pressures to fit a mold, and instead choosing to be true to who you are. However, Henry's journey is not a solitary one. He is supported by his friends Charlotte and Jasper, and the film's exploration of their relationships highlights another crucial theme: the power of friendship and teamwork. Throughout the movie, Henry learns that being a hero isn't just about individual glory. It's about working together and relying on others. In the final battle against Dr. Chaos, it's not just Henry who plays a pivotal role. Charlotte and Jasper, each using their unique talents and strengths, help him in ways that demonstrate the importance of collaboration. Their support and loyalty are crucial to Henry's growth, showing that being a hero doesn't mean doing it alone. This theme of teamwork reflects a larger message about the importance of community and support systems in real life. In addition to self-identity and friendship, the film delves into the concept of power and responsibility, a classic theme of superhero narratives. This theme is explored through Henry's evolving understanding of his role as Kid Danger. Early in the movie, he is shown to be confident in his abilities, but as the stakes rise, so does his realization that power must be used responsibly. The internal struggle between wanting to save Swellview and wanting to break free from his superhero persona mirrors the real-world dilemma many people face when given power or authority: how to use it wisely and ethically. Throughout the film, Henry is forced to make difficult choices that not only affect his own future, but the safety and well-being of those around him. This responsibility, which Henry initially struggles with, ultimately leads to his growth and acceptance of his role as both a hero and an individual. This sense of responsibility is also reflected in the symbolism of the villain, Dr. Chaos. Dr. Chaos, with his desire to destroy Swellview and seize control, represents the opposite of the values Henry stands for: selflessness, integrity, and responsibility. Dr. Chaos embodies unchecked ambition and the misuse of power, making him the perfect foil to Henry's character arc. Where Henry struggles to balance his heroic persona with his personal identity, Dr. Chaos is consumed by his desire for control and chaos, showing the consequences of failing to use power for good. The contrast between Henry and Dr. Chaos speaks to a larger moral lesson about the importance of balance and integrity, both in heroism and in life. Beyond the personal themes, the film also touches on larger societal issues, subtly weaving in social commentary that gives the story a broader resonance. One of the most significant aspects of the film is its exploration of the pressures young people face to live up to the expectations placed upon them. From the very first moments of the movie, Henry is thrust into a world where his actions are constantly scrutinized, first by his mentor, Captain Man, and then by the people around him. This mirrors the real-world experience of many young people who are often expected to excel in every area of their lives, from school to social interactions to extracurricular activities. The movie portrays this pressure in a way that's both relatable and empathetic, showing that it's okay to feel unsure or overwhelmed at times. The key message is that it's not about being perfect. It's about embracing your flaws, learning from mistakes, and growing in the process. The film also touches on the concept of mentorship, particularly in Henry's relationship with Captain Man throughout the movie. Captain Man serves as a father figure to Henry, teaching him the ropes of heroism but also passing on his own flaws and insecurities. This dynamic reflects real-life mentorships, where the mentor can often impart both wisdom and shortcomings onto their protege. Henry's journey of growth involves learning to forge his own path, separate from Captain Man's influence, and this evolution speaks to the importance of independence and self-reliance in personal development. It's a message that resonates with many viewers, particularly those who are at a stage in life where they are learning to make their own decisions and trust their own instincts. The film's use of humor also plays a role in conveying its deeper themes. The witty one-liners, playful banter, and slapstick moments might appear lighthearted on the surface, but they often serve to highlight the deeper emotional undercurrents running through the story. The humor in Henry Danger. The movie isn't just for laughs. It's a coping mechanism for the characters as they navigate complex emotions. Henry's jokes and sarcastic remarks often serve as a defense mechanism, masking his fear and uncertainty. It's only when he begins to open up to his friends and accept his vulnerabilities that the humor shifts from a shield to a genuine expression of his personality. This transformation further reinforces the theme of self-acceptance and the importance of embracing both your strengths and your weaknesses. The symbolism in the movie also extends to the visual elements, which are carefully crafted to reflect the themes of transformation and growth. One notable visual motif is the use of mirrors and reflections throughout the film. In several key scenes, Henry is shown looking at his reflection, whether it's in a mirror or in the reflection of a glass surface. These moments serve as visual metaphors for his inner turmoil and self-reflection. The imagery of Henry staring at his reflection, sometimes with uncertainty and sometimes with determination, emphasizes his ongoing journey toward understanding who he truly is. It's a subtle yet powerful reminder that self-discovery is often a process, one that requires looking inward and accepting all aspects of oneself. In the end, Henry Danger. The movie is a film rich in themes and symbolism, offering a nuanced exploration of identity, responsibility, and the power of relationships. The film doesn't shy away from addressing real-world issues like the pressures of conformity, the challenges of growing up, and the complexities of mentorship, all while remaining accessible to younger audiences. By weaving these deeper messages into the fabric of its story, the movie transcends its genre and becomes a reflective piece that resonates with viewers of all ages. Through its balance of humor, action, and heartfelt moments, Henry Danger. The movie invites the audience to reflect on their own journey towards self-discovery and the importance of being true to themselves, no matter what challenges they face. Henry Danger. The movie is not just a superhero adventure. It's a cinematic experience, crafted with a keen eye for visual storytelling that enhances its narrative. From the very first frame, the movie is a testament to the power of cinematography, editing, sound design, and music to immerse the audience in its world. Every shot, every cut, every sound is meticulously designed to not only move the plot forward, but to give the viewer a deeper understanding of the characters, their struggles, and their growth. The film's visual style and technical elements serve to elevate the story in ways that extend far beyond the action-packed sequences and comic relief. The movie's visual storytelling is a testament to the director's vision and the creative team's attention to detail. The first thing that stands out is the vibrant color palette, which plays an integral role in setting the mood of the film. The world of Henry Danger. The movie is bold, energetic, and full of life, reflected in the use of bright, saturated colors throughout. Swellview, the town in which the story takes place, is depicted with a heightened reality. The streets are busy, and the buildings are painted in eye-catching hues, making the environment feel both familiar and a bit larger than life. This saturation of color is not just aesthetic. It helps convey the film's tone, fun, fast-paced, and slightly exaggerated, much like the characters themselves. One of the key ways the film's visual style is established is through the contrast between the mundane world of Henry's everyday life and the extravagant, often absurd, superhero world he inhabits. The cinematography takes on a sharper, more dynamic look during action sequences. In contrast to the relatively grounded, slightly warmer tones of Henry's home and school environments, the action scenes explode with cooler tones, metallic sheens, and high-contrast lighting. This shift in the visual aesthetic signifies the dramatic shift in stakes from personal to global, from relatable teenage issues to life-or-death superhero battles. The director uses these visual contrasts to highlight the internal conflict Henry faces between the world of normalcy he longs for and the larger-than-life responsibilities that come with being Kid Danger. The film employs dynamic camera movements that keep the energy high, particularly during action sequences. When Henry is in full superhero mode, the camera often follows his every move in sweeping, fluid motions, mimicking his quick reflexes and sense of freedom. For example, during the opening chase sequence, the camera stays locked to Henry as he zips through the city, dodging obstacles and narrowly escaping villains. The camera mirrors his movement, creating an exhilarating sense of speed and excitement. This kinetic style brings the audience into the action, making them feel as though they're part of the chase. In contrast, moments of personal reflection are shot with a slower, more deliberate pace. These quieter moments, like when Henry contemplates his future or has a heart-to-heart with Charlotte, use more static shots, often framing the characters against more neutral backgrounds, emphasizing their introspection and the weight of their decisions. The editing in Henry Danger. The movie also contributes to its fast-paced, yet emotional, rhythm. The movie makes use of quick cuts, particularly during the action sequences, to create a sense of urgency and tension. For instance, during the climactic battle with Dr. Chaos, the editing becomes more frenetic, cutting between different characters' points of view and escalating the sense of chaos and danger. These rapid-fire edits help to build tension and keep the audience on the edge of their seat, mirroring the escalating stakes of the final showdown. But while the action sequences are fast, the film doesn't shy away from slowing things down during emotional moments. These slower-paced scenes, like when Henry contemplates his identity or talks with Captain Man about the weight of being a hero, are allowed to breathe. The editing in these moments lingers on the characters, giving space for the actors' performances to take center stage. This balance between rapid editing and slower, more deliberate moments creates a rhythm that reflects both the urgency of the superhero world and the emotional weight of the personal journeys the characters are going through. The sound design in Henry Danger. The movie plays an equally crucial role in shaping the viewer's experience. The movie's soundscape is a symphony of sonic details that work in tandem with the visual elements to heighten the emotional impact of each scene. The sound design is immersive, creating a world that feels as alive and energetic as the characters within it. From the subtle hum of the man cave's high-tech gadgets to the booming explosions in the final battle, every sound is carefully crafted to transport the audience deeper into the world of Henry Danger. The sounds of Henry's gadgets are iconic in their own right, sleek, futuristic, and metallic, and they are amplified in the film to add a layer of intrigue and wonder to the superhero action. When Henry activates his powers or uses one of his devices, the accompanying sound effect is sharp and crisp, further emphasizing the high-tech world he operates within. One of the standout moments in the film is a sequence where Henry's internal conflict comes to a head, and the sound design mirrors his emotional turmoil. As he grapples with the weight of his superhero persona and his desire for a normal life, the sounds around him begin to distort. The sound of his own voice becomes muffled, as if he's hearing it through a veil, symbolizing his confusion and sense of isolation. Meanwhile, the background noise, once vibrant and full of life, grows quieter, giving the viewer a sense of Henry's retreat into himself as he confronts his deepest fears and desires. The use of sound in this sequence amplifies the emotional stakes, providing a unique way to immerse the audience in the character's psyche. The music, composed by a talented team, also plays an integral role in shaping the movie's tone. The score is dynamic, shifting between high-energy, upbeat tracks during the action scenes and more introspective, emotional pieces during the character-driven moments. The music often complements the visual style, mirroring the shifts in tone from fast-paced and exciting to slow and reflective. One notable aspect of the film's score is the use of leitmotifs, the recurring musical themes associated with particular characters or moments. Henry's theme, for example, starts off lighthearted and playful but gradually becomes more heroic and resolute as his character arc progresses. This shift in musical tone signals his growth from an unsure, reluctant hero to someone who fully embraces his identity and responsibilities. Captain Man's theme, in contrast, is more bombastic and confident, mirroring his larger-than-life persona and role as Henry's mentor. These musical cues reinforce the emotional journey of the characters and further immerse the audience in the story. There's also a significant use of silence in the film, particularly during moments of reflection or emotional intensity. In one such scene, Henry stands alone in the middle of a deserted street after a major loss. The surrounding silence amplifies the weight of the moment, allowing the audience to feel Henry's solitude and confusion. The absence of sound in these moments creates a powerful sense of stillness, making the emotional beats hit harder when the score and sound effects return. The contrast between silence and music, sound and quiet, helps define the overall mood and tone of the film, making each emotional moment more impactful. The director's stylistic choices throughout the film also shape its visual identity, making it clear that Henry Danger, the movie, is more than just a larger-than-life superhero tale. It's a narrative about the internal conflict of a young man trying to understand who he is. One of the most striking aspects of the director's style is how they use color to reflect the emotional states of the characters. The scenes involving Henry's internal struggles are often shot with muted tones, with darker shadows and a more subdued color palette. This visual contrast reinforces the emotional weight of his journey, emphasizing his confusion, frustration, and isolation. In contrast, when Henry embraces his superhero persona and makes peace with his identity, the colors become brighter, more saturated, reflecting his newfound clarity and confidence. These visual shifts serve as a mirror to Henry's emotional transformation, making his internal journey visible to the audience. The director also employs several unique framing choices to highlight the character dynamics. For instance, during key moments of character development, Henry is often framed against large, empty spaces. This visual choice emphasizes his feelings of loneliness or the weight of the decisions he's making. Conversely, when he is supported by his friends or in moments of triumph, the framing tightens, bringing the characters together within the same shot, symbolizing the power of friendship and collaboration. These subtle visual cues serve to reinforce the film's themes of connection and personal growth, making the audience feel the emotional stakes without the need for heavy-handed dialogue or exposition. Throughout the film, the blending of visual storytelling techniques with sound design, music, and editing creates a seamless experience for the audience, pulling them deeper into the world of Henry Danger, the movie. The director's use of color, framing, and pacing adds layers of meaning to the story, allowing the film to resonate on an emotional level while still delivering the thrills and excitement of a superhero adventure. Every stylistic choice, from the explosive action sequences to the quieter moments of reflection, serves the story, enhancing its themes and making it more than just a spectacle. Ultimately, Henry Danger, the movie, is an example of how cinema can transcend its surface-level genre and offer an immersive, emotional experience. The cinematography, editing, sound design, music, and directorial choices all work together in harmony to create a film that is visually striking, emotionally resonant, and narratively compelling. It's a superhero film that understands the power of storytelling, both visually and sonically, and uses every tool at its disposal to create a lasting impact on its audience. The magic of Henry Danger. The movie doesn't just come from its explosive action scenes or larger-than-life superhero moments. It's the undeniable chemistry between the cast members that turns this superhero film into something that feels alive, personal, and grounded, despite its fantastical premise. The relationships between the characters on screen are a direct reflection of the relationships between the actors off screen. And it's this synergy that elevates the film, making it more than just a typical action-packed adventure. From the moment Henry Hart, played by Jace Norman, and Captain Man, portrayed by Cooper Barnes, share their first on-screen moment, there's a palpable connection. The two actors have been working together for years on the Henry Danger TV series, and their established camaraderie is evident in the film. Their easy banter, the way they play off each other's comedic timing, and their natural comfort with one another form the foundation of the film's dynamic. Their relationship on screen, as mentor and mentee, is complex, full of moments of levity and genuine affection, yet also tinged with the frustrations of growing up and taking on responsibilities. It's this balance that makes their relationship so compelling, and it's something the actors naturally bring to the table. Jace Norman, a young actor whose rise to fame came through Henry Danger, delivers a nuanced performance in the film, showing not just his comedic chops, but his ability to dive into the emotional core of the character. Henry is at a crossroads in this movie. He's no longer the carefree kid who can simply punch villains and make jokes. He's grappling with his identity, his future, and the weight of being a hero. Norman captures this internal conflict beautifully, making Henry's arc feel grounded and relatable. But it's his chemistry with Cooper Barnes, as Captain Man, that provides the emotional anchor of the film. Their bond feels lived in, natural, and true to the essence of their on-screen relationship, allowing the audience to fully invest in the story. Cooper Barnes, playing the larger-than-life Captain Man, is equally impressive, not just for his ability to play the comedic, over-the-top hero, but also for his subtle moments of vulnerability. Captain Man's role as a mentor is central to the plot, and Barnes captures both the humor and the heart of the character. His easygoing nature on set translated into the relationship between Captain Man and Henry, giving the dynamic a layer of authenticity that made it resonate deeply with viewers. The moments of tension and eventual emotional resolution between the two are key to the film's narrative, and Barnes' commitment to exploring both the humor and depth of his character helped create a believable mentor-mentee relationship that felt earned. But it's not just the leads whose chemistry is crucial to the success of the film. The supporting cast also plays a vital role, particularly the trio of Charlotte, Reel Downs, Jasper, Sean Ryan Fox, and Swoopsy, Ella Anderson. The camaraderie between these characters feels just as genuine as the one between Henry and Captain Man, creating a sense of family and friendship that permeates the entire film. Each actor brings their unique energy to the roles, and it's this mix of personalities that makes their dynamic so appealing. Reel Downs as Charlotte is the calm, rational voice of reason, often balancing the more impulsive tendencies of her friends. Her dry humor and sharp wit shine through, especially in moments of tension when she's forced to keep her cool. Sean Ryan Fox's portrayal of Jasper is equally endearing, as he embodies the goofy, loyal friend who, despite his quirks, always has Henry's back. And Ella Anderson's Swoopsy, with her innocence and occasional mischief, provides a delightful contrast to the rest of the group, grounding the more absurd moments with her sincere loyalty and unpretentious nature. The ensemble cast's ability to seamlessly work together, bouncing off each other's performances, is one of the most significant strengths of the film. There's a natural flow in their interactions that makes their characters' friendships feel real, and this chemistry is central to the film's success. It's not just about the superhero action or the dramatic stakes. It's about the relationships between the characters that make every moment feel earned. The actors share an undeniable bond that translates onto the screen, making every moment of triumph, every challenge, and every emotional exchange resonate with the audience. These connections are key to the heart of the movie, and it's this authenticity that keeps the audience emotionally invested. Behind the scenes, the cast's chemistry wasn't limited to the roles they played. The bond that developed during the filming of Henry Danger. The movie came from years of working together on the Henry Danger TV show. The ensemble cast had developed a strong camaraderie over the years, and this translated into a natural, easygoing atmosphere on set. The actors have often spoken about the supportive environment created by the director and the entire creative team, which allowed them to experiment, improvise, and really lean into their performances. This behind-the-scenes collaboration and trust were essential in creating the final product. The actors knew their characters so well, and their ability to push each other to deliver their best performances helped elevate the entire movie. There were, of course, challenges along the way. As with any large-scale production, the film faced its fair share of hurdles, both logistical and emotional. With so many big action scenes, elaborate set pieces, and special effects to coordinate, the production team had to be nimble and adaptable. Many of the action scenes were filmed in sequences that required precise choreography and timing, especially given the film's reliance on stunts. The actors were often required to perform stunts that pushed them physically, and while the crew worked to ensure everyone's safety, the intensity of these sequences brought the cast closer together. In particular, Jace Norman and Cooper Barnes, who spent a lot of time in the action-heavy scenes, developed a deeper understanding of each other's timing and delivery, which ultimately made their performances even more effective. But the behind-the-scenes stories that truly shaped the film aren't just about stunts or action sequences. They're about the moments of levity, the jokes, the pranks, and the sense of fun that define the entire shoot. For instance, the cast often shared hilarious behind-the-scenes moments that didn't make it into the final cut, but gave the film an extra layer of personality. Whether it was a spontaneous improv moment that became part of the film or a hilarious blooper reel that showed the cast having fun between takes, these moments of joy and camaraderie helped create an infectious energy that transferred directly onto the screen. The audience's reaction to Henry Danger. The movie speaks volumes about the film's ability to connect emotionally with viewers. It wasn't just the action that drew audiences in. It was the way the film balanced humor, heart, and high-stakes adventure. Fans of the TV series were undoubtedly excited to see their favorite characters on the big screen, but what they weren't expecting was how much emotional depth the movie would offer. Many viewers were moved by Henry's internal journey, as he grappled with the idea of growing up, taking on adult responsibilities, and finding a balance between his personal life and his superhero obligations. The themes of friendship, loyalty, and self-discovery resonated deeply with audiences, young and old alike, making the film a hit across generations. Critical reception was generally positive, with particular praise for the cast's performances, the emotional depth of the story, and the way the film expanded upon the world of Henry Danger. Critics applauded the way the film blended the film and sharing their favorite moments. The movie's success helped solidify the legacy of the show and the characters within it, giving fans an extra layer of content to enjoy. Social media platforms are filled with fan theories, fan art, and discussions about the film, showcasing the lasting impact it has had on its audience. The bond between the cast and the fans was evident both on and off-screen, as the actors frequently engage with their fans through interviews, social media posts, and conventions. This continued interaction between the cast and the audience has only deepened the connection to the film, making it a memorable and beloved part of the Henry Danger universe. Ultimately, the chemistry between the cast, the dynamic set environment, and the audience's reaction all played an integral role in shaping Henry Danger, the movie, into the cinematic experience it became. It's a film that relies just as much on the relationships between the characters as it does on the action, and it's this human element that makes the story so compelling. Behind the scenes, the cast's camaraderie translated directly into their on-screen performances, and it's this authenticity that continues to captivate audiences. The film's success isn't just measured by box office numbers or critical acclaim. It's the lasting connection it has built with its fans, who continue to find joy, laughter, and emotional resonance in this larger-than-life superhero story. Henry Danger. The movie has left an indelible mark on its genre, filmmaking, and pop culture, solidifying its place in cinematic history as more than just a superhero adventure. Over time, the film has grown into a cultural touchstone, influencing future generations of filmmakers, writers, and audiences. Its legacy is defined not only by its success at the box office or with fans, but by its ability to cross the boundaries between television and film, creating a unique and compelling superhero experience that resonates with viewers in ways few others have. While it may not have been heralded as a groundbreaking cinematic event in the traditional sense, Henry Danger. The movie is a textbook example of how a well-crafted narrative can shift the conversation, blur the lines between mediums, and shape a cultural moment that endures well beyond its initial release. When Henry Danger, the movie hit theaters, it did more than just provide a thrilling, action-packed storyline for fans of the Henry Danger series. It showcased the ever-expanding potential of superhero films, particularly within the realm of family-friendly, kid-centered cinema. The superhero genre has evolved significantly over the years, especially with the rise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC's own blockbuster hits. However, Henry Danger, the movie distinguished itself by offering a distinctly lighthearted, comedic take on the genre that appeals to a younger audience, all while navigating the complexities of growing up and balancing the superhero lifestyle with real-life challenges. By focusing on the personal growth of Henry Hart, who is both grappling with his identity as a superhero and the universal trials of adolescence, the film carved out a unique space in the superhero genre. It was neither overly dark nor overly comedic, but instead balanced those elements with a deft touch. For young viewers, it became a primer on the value of friendship, responsibility, and self-discovery. In a landscape dominated by increasingly mature and action-heavy superhero narratives, Henry Danger, the movie resonated with families seeking content that was both exciting and wholesome. The film's impact on its genre also reverberates beyond its content. In an era where crossover events and shared universes dominate the blockbuster conversation, Henry Danger, the movie provided a masterclass in how to blend television continuity with big-screen aspirations. Many TV shows have attempted to transition into movies, but not all succeed in keeping the essence of the characters intact while offering a fresh cinematic experience. Henry Danger, the movie found this balance perfectly. The cast, who had already built strong relationships over years of working together on the TV show, brought their deep understanding of their characters to the film, ensuring a seamless transition from TV to movie. The film respected the tone and humor of the show but elevated it with higher production values, larger-than-life set pieces, and the epic stakes of a superhero movie. This balance of maintaining TV show sensibilities while adopting filmic techniques is a testament to the creative decisions that helped the film stand out within its own genre. The film also made significant strides in terms of filmmaking and production, showcasing an impressive mix of practical effects and digital wizardry. The way the film employed these techniques to create its larger-than-life action sequences felt fresh and exciting, even if the technology itself wasn't new. The visual storytelling, especially in the high-octane action scenes, kept the audience engaged, and the slick editing kept the pace moving without losing the emotional undercurrent of the story. This attention to both spectacle and substance was part of what allowed the film to transcend the typical expectations of a children's movie. It showed that a film designed for a younger audience could still be crafted with the same level of care, precision, and artistic ambition as any adult-oriented blockbuster. The cultural impact of Henry Danger. The movie is undeniable, with its influence reverberating across social media, fan communities, and pop culture at large. For a generation of young viewers, the film was more than just a movie. It was an experience. The relatable struggles of Henry Hart became a point of connection for fans who saw themselves in his journey. The film's exploration of growing up, dealing with responsibility, and reconciling one's identity resonated on a personal level, making it more than just a superhero flick. It became a cultural touchstone for a new generation of fans. In the years following its release, Henry Danger, the movie maintained a strong presence in fan discussions, with fan theories, memes, and fan art continuing to circulate across social media platforms. This active engagement by the fan base turned the movie into a living, breathing part of the Henry Danger universe. It was also through this ongoing interaction that the film's legacy began to evolve, taking on new meanings as audiences. Henry Danger, The movie is a unique gem in the ever-expanding landscape of superhero cinema. It's not just another superhero film. It's a movie that strikes a balance between heart, humor, and action, all while staying true to the themes of the original TV series. As we've explored throughout this breakdown, the movie is a thrilling journey that blends all the elements of a great adventure film with the relatable trials and tribulations of growing up. From the moments of heroism and comedic misadventures to the deeper, more personal arcs of its characters, this film delivers an experience that resonates with audiences young and old alike. At its core, the movie is about self-discovery, responsibility, and friendship, and it's this emotional depth that sets it apart from other superhero movies. While many superhero films focus on global-scale conflicts and world-ending threats, Henry Danger, the movie reminds us that sometimes the most important battles are the ones fought within, struggling to balance our responsibilities with our personal lives and the relationships we cherish. These themes of growth and personal development are something everyone can relate to, making the film accessible and meaningful to a wide audience. One of the most defining elements of the film is its ability to stay true to the spirit of the Henry Danger TV show while elevating the stakes and scope. The transition from television to the big screen is no easy feat, but this movie manages to keep the charm, humor, and core dynamics of the show intact while offering a cinematic experience that feels larger than life. The special effects, action sequences, and visual storytelling bring a new level of excitement to the narrative, while the actors' performances ensure that the heart of the story remains grounded and authentic. The film is a testament to the power of collaboration, with the cast, crew, and creative team working together to craft a movie that both respects the original series and stands on its own as a thrilling cinematic adventure. Visually, Henry Danger, the movie is a treat for the eyes. The action sequences are fast-paced and dynamic, with an impressive use of practical effects and CGI that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. These sequences are complemented by an energetic soundtrack that underscores the emotional beats and intensifies the high-stakes moments. The music and sound design are integral to the movie's overall experience, enhancing the atmosphere and helping to create a fully immersive world where heroes can rise, fall, and learn from their mistakes. The film's ability to balance spectacle with heart is also what has made it a lasting favorite for fans. It's a movie that doesn't just rely on its action to keep viewers engaged. It gives them characters they care about and a story that matters. The relationships between Henry and his friends, his struggles with identity, and his journey toward maturity give the film an emotional weight that lingers long after the credits roll. These personal stakes are what make the superhero antics feel so much more than just entertainment. They give the audience something to connect with on a deeper level. Furthermore, Henry Danger, the movie stands out for its cultural relevance. In a time when superhero films are a dominant force in Hollywood, the movie manages to carve out its own space by offering something different from the usual blockbuster fare. It provides a refreshing break from the darker, more serious tones that often define modern superhero films, focusing instead on the excitement and humor that made the Henry Danger TV show so beloved. In doing so, it has become a symbol of how superhero stories can be both lighthearted and meaningful, providing a blueprint for future films in the genre. The film's cultural impact can also be seen in its continued popularity among fans. Over time, Henry Danger, the movie has evolved from a simple TV-to-movie transition into a pop culture phenomenon, with a dedicated fan base that continues to engage with the movie long after its initial release. Whether through social media, fan art, or memes, the movie has remained a topic of conversation, proving that its appeal has lasting power. The way fans continue to revisit the film and keep the conversation alive speaks to its enduring relevance and significance in the world of superhero cinema. Of course, no movie would be complete without its cast, and Henry Danger, the movie is no exception. The chemistry between the actors is palpable, and their performances elevate the material. They bring their characters to life with a blend of humor, heart, and sincerity that makes it impossible not to root for them. The cast's ability to embody their roles and bring a sense of authenticity to their performances is one of the key reasons the movie works so well. It's not just the action that drives the story forward. It's the relationships between the characters and the emotional stakes that keep the audience invested. Additionally, The supporting characters play a crucial role in shaping the narrative. The side characters, while not as central to the story as Henry himself, provide important context and support to the main plot. They help to flesh out the world of Henry Danger and create a sense of community within the film. Without these characters, the movie would lack the richness and depth that make it so engaging. The movie's success is not just defined by its critical reception but by its connection with audiences. It's a film that resonates on an emotional level, offering a story that is both entertaining and thought-provoking. The way it blends humor, action, and heartfelt moments makes it a standout in the superhero genre, particularly in the realm of family-friendly entertainment. It shows that superhero stories can be both exciting and emotionally rich, and that they don't have to be dark or overly complex to be impactful. The lasting popularity of Henry Danger. The movie is proof of the film's success in striking this balance. But beyond the surface level, the movie's true strength lies in its message. Henry Danger. The movie is not just about defeating bad guys or saving the day. It's about the importance of staying true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. It's about the value of friendship, loyalty, and doing what's right, no matter the cost. These are the themes that have resonated with audiences and continue to be relevant long after the movie's release. Looking back, it's clear that Henry Danger, the movie, has made a lasting impact on both its genre and its fans. It's a film that stands out for its heart, its humor, and its ability to tell a story that is both exciting and meaningful. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and to the ways in which superhero movies can entertain, inspire, and resonate with viewers of all ages. Henry Danger. The movie is a unique gem in the ever-expanding landscape of superhero cinema. It's not just another superhero film. It's a movie that strikes a balance between heart, humor, and action, all while staying true to the themes of the original TV series. As we've explored throughout this breakdown, the movie is a thrilling journey that blends all the elements of a great adventure film with the relatable trials and tribulations of growing up. From the moments of heroism and comedic misadventures to the deeper, more personal arcs of its characters, this film delivers an experience that resonates with audiences young and old alike. At its core, the movie is about self-discovery, responsibility, and friendship, and it's this emotional depth that sets it apart from other superhero movies. While many superhero films focus on global-scale conflicts and world-ending threats, Henry Danger. The movie reminds us that sometimes the most important battles are the ones fought within, struggling to balance our responsibilities with our personal lives and the relationships we cherish. These themes of growth and personal development are something everyone can relate to, making the film accessible and meaningful to a wide audience. One of the most defining elements of the film is its ability to stay true to the spirit of the Henry Danger TV show while elevating the stakes and scope. The transition from television to the big screen is no easy feat, but this movie manages to keep the charm, humor, and core dynamics of the show intact while offering a cinematic experience that feels larger than life. The special effects, action sequences, and visual storytelling bring a new level of excitement to the narrative, while the actors' performances ensure that the heart of the story remains grounded and authentic. The film is a testament to the power of collaboration, with the cast, crew, and creative team working together to craft a movie that both respects the original series and stands on its own as a thrilling cinematic adventure. Visually, Henry Danger. The movie is a treat for the eyes. The action sequences are fast-paced and dynamic, with an impressive use of practical effects and CGI that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. These sequences are complemented by an energetic soundtrack that underscores the emotional beats and intensifies the high-stakes moments. The music and sound design are integral to the movie's overall experience, enhancing the atmosphere and helping to create a fully immersive world where heroes can rise, fall, and learn from their mistakes. The film's ability to balance spectacle with heart is also what has made it a lasting favorite for fans. It's a movie that doesn't just rely on its action to keep viewers engaged. It gives them characters they care about and a story that matters. The relationships between Henry and his friends, his struggles with identity, and his journey toward maturity give the film an emotional weight that lingers long after the credits roll. These personal stakes are what make the superhero antics feel so much more than just entertainment. They give the audience something to connect with on a deeper level. Furthermore, Henry Danger. The movie stands out for its cultural relevance. In a time when superhero films are a dominant force in Hollywood, the movie manages to carve out its own space by offering something different from the usual blockbuster fare. It provides a refreshing break from the darker, more serious tones that often define modern superhero films, focusing instead on the excitement and humor that made the Henry Danger TV show so beloved. In doing so, it has become a symbol of how superhero stories can be both lighthearted and meaningful, providing a blueprint for future films in the genre. The film's cultural impact can also be seen in its continued popularity among fans. Over time, Henry Danger. The movie has evolved from a simple TV-to-movie transition into a pop culture phenomenon, with a dedicated fan base that continues to engage with the movie long after its initial release. Whether through social media, fan art, or memes, the movie has remained a topic of conversation, proving that its appeal has lasting power. The way fans continue to revisit the film and keep the conversation alive speaks to its enduring relevance and significance in the world of superhero cinema. Of course, no movie would be complete without its cast, and Henry Danger. The movie is no exception. The chemistry between the actors is palpable, and their performances elevate the material. They bring their characters to life with a blend of humor, heart, and sincerity that makes it impossible not to root for them. The cast's ability to embody their roles and bring a sense of authenticity to their performances is one of the key reasons the movie works so well. It's not just the action that drives the story forward. It's the relationships between the characters and the emotional stakes that keep the audience invested. Additionally, the supporting characters play a crucial role in shaping the narrative. The side characters, while not as central to the story as Henry himself, provide important context and support to the main plot. They help to flesh out the world of Henry Danger and create a sense of community within the film. Without these characters, the movie would lack the richness and depth that make it so engaging. The movie's success is not just defined by its critical reception but by its connection with audiences. It's a film that resonates on an emotional level, offering a story that is both entertaining and thought-provoking. The way it blends humor, action, and heartfelt moments makes it a standout in the superhero genre, particularly in the realm of family-friendly entertainment. It shows that superhero stories can be both exciting and emotionally rich, and that they don't have to be dark or overly complex to be impactful. The lasting popularity of Henry Danger. The movie is proof of the film's success in striking this balance. But beyond the surface level, the movie's true strength lies in its message. Henry Danger. The movie is not just about defeating bad guys or saving the day. It's about the importance of staying true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. It's about the value of friendship, loyalty, and doing what's right, no matter the cost. These are the themes that have resonated with audiences and continue to be relevant long after the movie's release. Looking back, it's clear that Henry Danger. The movie has made a lasting impact on both its genre and its fans. It's a film that stands out for its heart, its humor, and its ability to tell a story that is both exciting and meaningful. It's a testament to the power of storytelling, and to the ways in which superhero movies can entertain, inspire, and resonate with viewers of all ages. As we wrap up this deep dive into Henry Danger, the movie, one thing is clear. This film is more than just a fun, action-packed adventure. It's a movie that speaks to the power of self-discovery, friendship, and the challenges of growing up. It's a film that continues to inspire fans, provoke thought, and entertain audiences with its blend of humor, action, and heart. If you love this breakdown, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cinema. Let's keep exploring movies together.